Due to YouTube's time limit on videos, this video has been split into two parts. This is the beginning of part 2. If you have not seen part 1 of this video, please see the first part linked in this part's description. These are the rules for the Q&A. 1. Only one question per person per Q&A. If you ask more than one question, only your first question will be answered and the rest will be ignored. 2. Check previous Q&As for already answered questions. Each question is listed in the description section of that video. 3. Questions must be game related.
Next question. What are your top 5 RPGs for the Super Nintendo? Because there are so many good ones. You know, the ultimate shame of the 16-bit era for me is that I never played any RPGs. Back then, if you were to ask me even to name an RPG for the Super Nintendo, I couldn't even give you one. It's a real shame. And as of now, I've only played one, which is Final Fantasy VI. And, yeah. I actually feel really bad about this because I've missed out on a lot. And I've got, the only other game I've got on my to-do list is Chrono Trigger. So, I don't even know 5 RPGs for the Super Nintendo off the top of my head. And, if you know some good ones, point them out to me. Please, by all means, because I love RPGs. Next question. Is there a game company that you find overrated? Yes, 2 of them actually. Square Enix and Electronic Arts. Next question. Do you think Krystal should have been in Brawl? You know, I really don't have a strong opinion about this because, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the Star Fox franchise, and I'm even a less fan of Brawl. Hell, I still even haven't played a Brawl game. I guess I don't have a strong opinion or even a qualified opinion on this, but I guess at face value, I don't see where it would have hurt to have Krystal in Brawl. But why they didn't put Krystal in Brawl, who knows? I don't know. Next question. What are your top 5 shoot 'em ups? By shoot 'em ups, you mean games like UN Squadron, Gradius III, and 1941. The top 5, Raiden Trad for the Super Nintendo, SEGA and Zero Wing for the Genesis or Mega Drive, whatever you want to call it, Life Force, and Gradius 1. Next question. How do you rank GTA 4 amongst its PlayStation 2 prequels, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas? Never played GTA 3. I still have the wrapping on that game, as pathetic as that is. I've got tons of games that I haven't even unwrapped. I have played Vice City and San Andreas though, and I would put GTA 4 between Vice City and San Andreas, with San Andreas on top. And I would say that, you know, GTA 4 introduced, you know, some improvements graphic-wise in the presentation. There's a new cover system, but I think it lacked in some of the areas that made San Andreas such a great game, because San Andreas had, you know, more variety in the missions, more variety in the terrain. You can get jetpack, tanks, Harriers. None of that is in GTA 4. And really the improvements that were put in GTA 4 really, in my opinion, don't compensate for what was in San Andreas that was not in GTA 4. I mean, yes, GTA 4, it's a great game. It holds its own within the Grand Theft Auto series, but I still think San Andreas is better, in my opinion. Next question. Do you think that the Sega CD is a far better CD-based system than the TurboGrafx CD, the Phllips CDi, and the Atari Jaguar CD? Well, yes, I do, and really that's based on things like market penetration. I mean, the Sega CD sold like 6 million units. The Phllips CDi only sold, you know, 570,000 units, The Atari Jaguar CD, there's only like 20,000, I believe, that are known to have been sold. Nowhere close to even the CDI sales figures. As far as the TurboGrafx CD, I really don't know how many were sold, but we do know that the TurboGrafx 16 sold 10 million units. Now, for the TurboGrafx CD to match the Sega CD, 60% of TurboGrafx 16 owners would have had to have purchased the TurboGrafx CD, and I'm going to assume that the actual number is nowhere close to 60%. Of course, that's an assumption, but I have no reason to believe otherwise. And really, I think the most telling sign as far as market penetration is concerned is back then, the Sega CD was the only system that I actually heard of. I've never even heard of the Phllips CDi. I've heard of the TurboGrafx 16, but I only know one person who owned it. And, you know, I don't even think he owned the TurboGrafx CD. As far as the Atari Jaguar is concerned, I never knew a single person who owned that, let alone the CD add-on for that thing. So based on market penetration, I think yes, the Sega CD would be the far better system, or CD-based system. Now, as far as the game's libraries are concerned, I'm not even going to comment on the TurboGrafx CD's library. Don't know much about it. I looked at a list and it looks like half of those were Japanese titles that never even came out in the US. Atari Jaguar CD, I don't even think we need to talk about that. Phllips CDi, it had some okay titles. It had some good titles like Burn Cycle, Seventh Guest, but you know, those came out on the PC first. Those were already on the PC. You know, the Sega CD actually had some couple of notable titles that I know of, like Snatcher, Sega CD. So presumably the Sega CD not only had better market penetration, but better libraries. And you know, I actually am pretty confident that the Sega CD had a better library, because market penetration and game development kind of go hand in hand. They kind of feed off each other. You know, the more people who own a system, the more incentive there is to develop for the system. And by far, the Sega CD had the most market penetration. So yes, I would agree that the Sega CD was a far better CD-based system than those other three systems. Alright, last question. What are your thoughts on Ninja Gaiden 2 on the Xbox 360? That came out earlier this month. I do not own the game. I've been busy with GTA 4 and my Xbox 360 red ringed on me, so I don't know when I'll get to it. I haven't played it, so I don't have an opinion. And that's all I have for this month's Q&A. To ask a question, just type the questions in the comment box. You can send them through PM or on the comment box on my page, but I prefer that you leave them in the comment box of this Q&A video, just so that they don't get lost in the shuffle. And until next time, thanks for watching.